you guys. Thanks for clicking on the video. If you are new, welcome. If you watched my videos before, welcome back. Thank you for being here. It's kind of a weird day. I am trying to get some videos uploaded about my experience with pneumonia this month. I feel like it's very important information to pass along. I'm in the process of doing that right now, and I'm having a very hard time getting the videos to upload for some reason. And while I'm in the middle of that, I want to continue on with some of my other series, my other videos, and my other content that I cover. And although I have a lot going on in this video, I want to talk about, I want to get back to certain parts of the Watts case. I've done several videos on this particular case, certain elements that are moving to me, certain things I want to talk about. And I find myself in the middle of all of this going on in my life right now, the pneumonia, the things going on in my own life, the Christmas season coming up. I just lost my partner back in September to cancer. I have a lot going on. And I find myself right now tonight thinking, in fact, I've been thinking about it all afternoon, my thoughts gravitating back to Shanann and the girls from the Watts murder case. If you are familiar with this case, then you know what I'm talking about. I don't have to break it all down for you. There's a lot of information on YouTube everywhere about it. It happened back in 2018. If you're not familiar with it, like I say, do your research. There's tons of information out there about the case. It's just one of those cases that once you run across it, it gets into your heart. It doesn't leave your heart. And I don't know, I guess I ran across it at a time where I was going through, I won't say I was going through something similar, but I was going through a very hard situation of my own. And I'm just a deep and emotional person. I feel things sometimes more deeply than other people do. Call me strange, call me weird, whatever. But I was thinking about Shanann today, and I wanted to voice this. As I, and we all know there's a lot of different opinions out there about this case. There's a whole set of people out there that constantly hate on this woman and her family and pick her apart. And there's a reason why they all got started doing that. Make her to blame for the fact that her husband was emotionally immature, had issues, went off the deep end, and committed familicide, and took out his wife and children so that he could just go on with life and be free to move on with his girlfriend that he knew for 5 weeks. I know that there's a lot of people that rag on her, and people say to me, you're taking this personally. You're not analyzing the case objectively. You're not doing this, and this. Because I don't want to. That's not what my content is about. My content is coming from my soul, my feelings, my perspectives, and I want to put out what I want to put out, what I feel about it, okay? And fuck yeah, it makes me think about my own life. I'm sure it makes everybody think about their own life to hear of such a thing happening. And I can't help it. I can't help but relate to some aspects of, no, the same exact thing didn't happen to me, but I've been through toxic relationships. I've been through narcissistic abuse. I grew up in trauma. I grew up with mental illness, narcissism, addiction, abusive parents, all kinds of shit. And I've experienced what it's like to also be a strong woman with a good heart being twisted and misconstrued and scapegoated. And I know what it's like to step off into the wrong damn situation and have everybody turn against you and nobody really seeing the truth. That kind of shit really happens to people. It's happened to me before. And so, yes, in a lot of ways, I can relate to Shanann. In a lot of ways, I saw myself in her, certain aspects of her personality and what she was trying to do in life, and how unbelievably unfair. Like, I don't even think she stood a chance. Okay. And so, as I go about my day recently, going through what I'm going through, and I'm always looking around on YouTube and, what the world is becoming now with all these couples and doing their thing on social media. And, I see all these couples supporting each other, the man and the wife, and just they getting to be themselves. And I know there's a lot of fucking people that are going to say this, that, and the other. It could be this, it could be that. You don't know. They're not that happy. They might be fake. Okay, all that could be true. But just saying, I see all these families and all these people out there in social media land. And, I guess I think about my own relationship too. And, I was married twice back in my early 20s. That's 25 years ago. Had children, had marriages. Then I had long times of being single. I had dating life. I had other significant relationships, engaged again. I've had my share of experiences in different angles and perspectives of love and partnership and everything. But I guess I never found, I guess in a way I relate to the sorrow of not being supported, of not finding, not saying I didn't find good love, not saying that I didn't have great experiences, but I had a lot of toxic ones too. I had a lot of ones where I had to give and give more than I was receiving, that I had to put up with a lot of shit, and I don't know. And I guess naturally I look at a situation like that and I can feel it to my own soul. Which I had to learn to just suck it up. I went to a lot of therapy because of my childhood, and I had to learn, hey, you know what? First of all, what your parents didn't give you, you don't take those issues into your marriage. You fucking find it in yourself and you heal it before you go put it on some woman or some man and take it out on them. So I learned about personal sovereignty and healing my own self, and not necessarily looking around at the world going, you owe me love. You owe me love. Like a lot of these mentally and emotionally underdeveloped people. Expecting a partner to love you and treat you right, if you're going to be together, that's fine. But going around the world just waiting to glob onto somebody and expecting them to fulfill you and fill that fucking hole, that void inside your heart, whatever you didn't get in childhood, whatever your freaking insecurities are and all that shit, and expecting them to make you perfectly happy and feel some type of way, and that's toxic. That's bullshit, and it's wrong. Okay, we don't depend on others for that. It's not their job. It's not their job, and I think it needs to be discussed more often. What the boundary line is. What should we expect in a relationship? What is enough? What are we going overboard expecting too much of? I think that should be discussed. And here's the thing that really irks me. I think about it a lot. I think about it for myself, and I think about it for people like Shanann. She comes to mind. Why is it? Why her? Just like why me? Even though I had a totally different situation, I'm alive, clearly. Clearly I didn't have it as bad as she did, and what happened to her and her children, but I've been through some similar things, okay? There's certain things I could pick out about this case that she had to go through, that I've been through, that I know what it feels like to be hated on by toxic people, to be ganged up on by toxic family members of partners, family members and shit, to be scapegoated when I wasn't doing a goddamn thing wrong except loving my fucking partner and standing up for my rights and just being who I was meant to be. I know what it's like to be hated on for no fucking reason. Turned into the scapegoat that everybody loves to hate for no fucking reason. And I, as I go across YouTube and the world the way it is now, just 5 years after this horrific thing happened to Shanann Watts and the girls, and I look at all the strong women in the world who get to be themselves. They get to be whatever they want to be. It's so hard for me to explain this. And the only way you would know how I felt is if you ever lived with a hater. If you ever lived with a secret hater in your life that you thought loved you, that you thought it was okay to be you. You didn't know you were doing anything wrong by being you. What's wrong with that? Is it supposed to be you like this? Am I good enough? Is it supposed to be that? Or can you fucking be you? Can you just be you? Is there something wrong with just being you? Is that really abusive? These fucking thumbsuckers out here bashing up on her. Is that really abusive? Is that really horrific and emasculating to the men? For a woman to be herself? And so I look at all the shit on TikTok and YouTube and Instagram now, and all these great women just getting to be themselves, getting to be so fat, like the Beverly Halls, the football player and his little wife and their kids. And some of these people are just so fucking fantastic. Came up from nothing, came up from scratch, lifted each other up, built each other up. And you don't see the husband sitting over in the corner sucking his goddamn thumb. I hate my wife. She shines too much. Like Chris Watts. And believe me, I've been with somebody like him. And it's so painful to be hated by a man when all you do is love him. It's so fucking painful that in order to make him love you, you got to shrink yourself down all ugly and weak and pathetic. And for people to say she was fucking abusive and narcissistic just for being fabulous, just for wanting to be the biggest, best self she could be, just because she wanted to enjoy things and put passion into things. I see women doing this all the time. I look at them and I think, oh my God, I know that spirit because I had that spirit before I got with somebody who had similar characteristics to Chris Watts, covert narcissistic type. A man who hated himself, who felt weak upon himself, who hated on me for no reason when all I ever did was love. But I was also strong and powerful. And I had an opinion. I had a spirit. I had, and I see these women. They're free to dress up and they're free to have the confidence they want to have. And they're free to cook the beautiful food and put all the energy into everything they want. And their husbands are strong enough and confident enough it's like, I don't know, thinking about what happened to Shanann and then thinking about what I lived with for many years with an alcoholic covert narcissist who I loved, who had a great spirit, who had a lot of good qualities, but he was also very damaged. And he hated on me a lot. Secretly. He had this thing where the covert narcissistic male, they are very offended by your confidence. They are very offended by your joy. I had to hide everything. I had to start shrinking way, way down and just become this old haggard, moping, in order not to offend the covert narcissistic man. And so that's exactly why Chris Watts moved on to Nicole. Okay, and that's why my person moved on to somebody who was basically cracked out, begging in the streets, not having an identity of a woman, weak, powerless. Yes. Covert narcissistic man. So this video is not going to be very long. I just wanted to put that out there. I felt like freaking saying it, and I wanted to get it off my chest. I think about Shanann a lot and how goddamn unfair it was to her. And I know what that shit's all about because I've lived through it. And those fucking people judging and bashing her. And I think to myself, why her? And even why me? Why do certain people get scapegoated while every other woman can be free to do what they want? And nobody takes it personally. Nobody's mad at them for it. They can fluff their hair. They can be the best cook. They can have the most beautifully decorated house. They can flaunt and feel great about themselves, and it's not considered abusive. It's not considered pretentious. Nobody hates them for it. Their husband loves them even more, supports them even more. You go, girl. Nobody's really abusing anybody. Why are people looking at that like it's a bad thing? What kind of fucking message are you putting out there? You people hating on her like that. Basically, you're telling women they need to shrink the fuck down or they might get murdered. They need to shrink the fuck down because it might piss off their thumb-sucking, covert narcissistic husband who needed a lifetime of therapy from the time he left his mama, who had problems before he ever married her. You're telling people that they need to be afraid to be themselves. They don't need to have any confidence. They don't need to enjoy life. Or you're implying that it's normal for their husband to just snap and want to annihilate them and throw them in the trash if they get too confident about their britches and make their husband's little insecure buttons feel bad. The fuck? So I find myself wondering this holiday season, why? Why could everybody else on social media, every other woman in the world, why? Why is it okay for them to feel strong and powerful and beautiful? And honey, I want to do TikToks, and honey, I want to do social media, and grab me this, grab me that. Why can they have that confidence and their husbands be emotionally mature enough to know it's not personal? She's not trying to emasculate me. Don't y'all get it? A covert narcissist is so fucking damaged. They come into the marriage already assuming that everybody is out to get them. The fact that you were literally born onto this earth is a threat to them. You did it on purpose. You planned it so that you could meet them one day and make them feel less than. That's how fucking ridiculous and deranged their mind gets. I know because I lived with it for years. So, with Chris and Shanann, I'm tired of it. I think about her a lot because it reminds me of me and some of the shit I went through. I'm going to relate some of it to my life. Because I think to myself, why me? Why was I targeted like that? Why would the person I love so much, why couldn't he just accept that I loved him and let me thrive, let me live, Let me be the big, beautiful spirit that I was. Why did he want to break me down so bad? Why did he want to make me feel so terrible for having confidence and for loving life and for wanting to make everything beautiful and fabulous and do the absolute best I could at everything? Why do people hate that so bad and they want to turn it into something ugly? Why do you want to turn that into something pretentious, narcissistic? She's a selfish bitch. She's condescending. Why do you want to take beautiful energy like that and turn it into something ugly? It wasn't ugly. What Shanann had was a fantastic spirit, and he didn't fucking deserve her. He didn't deserve her or those children. He was a deranged, mentally retarded lunatic that really needed to be in an institution. He didn't need to be out in the world trying to date at 24 or getting married or anything. He needed help, and he slipped through the cracks, and nobody knew about it, and he kept it hidden. So, yes, I think about Shanann during the holidays. I've been thinking about it a lot. Why? Why her? Why does she have to be the scapegoat? Just like why me? Certain things in my life, why the fuck I have to be the scapegoat? Why couldn't I have been loved and supported for who I was? Why are these lunatics want to come into your life and be allowed to get away with it? And that's bad enough. At least we can call that out and say, okay, they did it. We can forgive them. Maybe we can work with it. But then we got whole groups of people and family members defending these damn people, still putting us down. So that's what I want to know. Why out of all the girls and women on social media, and all the wives and people out there, why is it that, these women can have the strong support of their husbands? And I don't want to hear that fucked up argument. Oh, it's not really, their husbands are just doing it because of it. I don't want to fucking hear it. There's a lot of great fucking couples out there that really love each other, that are really making great things happen in the world. And they are backing each other up. They are giving each other that great energy. And I believe that's what Shanann was trying to do 100%. It was her husband's fucked up head. It was him, okay? Just like my partnership, I was trying to do everything I could and being twisted and tormented and the whole fucking step, the whole time. And then scapegoated and flipped and everybody turning it around. And I just want to know, what the fuck makes y'all think, why not her? Why couldn't she stand and be just as great as everybody else? Why did y'all want her to back down so far? Why did y'all want her energy down so far? Why? Why are certain ones of us targeted? Why can't our energy be strong and powerful and beautiful and we enjoy it and people love us for it? I'll tell you why. Because we got involved with the wrong kind of goddamn men. That's why. That needed fucking help. It was an unlucky, random fucking thing, okay? And I've got more videos coming out about where I pick up where I left off in the last video about how Shanann and Chris came together and how that man pushed his way into her life